Yo, what's going on, guys? Sorry for the weird upload schedule. Life is hitting me fast. Just bought a condo. Moving to Miami in 5 days. Okay, but that's not what this video is about. Mark Stein of the Stein Line says the Dallas Mavericks are trying to get Clint Capela still. We already knew that they wanted Clint Capela. You remember before or during the draft is what we've heard is that it was reported, I believe, by Mark Stein that so the Hawks called up the Mavs called up basically something like that. And the discussions was, hey, Mavs were like, we want Clint Capela. We'll offer you, I think it was like Davis Bertans' contract and the 10th pick. Oh, I remember it right here. It was Davis Bertans in the 10th pick for John Collins in the 15th pick. Mavs said no, came back with, we'll give you the 10th pick and Davis Bertans for Clint Capela in the 15th pick. Then the Hawks came back and said, we'll give you Clint Capela in the 15th pick for Davis Bertans, the 10th pick, and Josh Green. And then discussions ended. Now, John Collins is gone. And what we've heard is, let me read you what our man Mark Stein of the Stein Line Substack, go check out his report. It'll be linked in the description like it usually is whenever we have these sources, because again, I'm just reporting this. And what we're hearing specifically is the Mavericks don't want to be done. Maybe they are done with this roster because further moves are not available to them. They would love if the chance to make another trade run at Clint Capela from the Atlanta Hawks materializes to this point, end quote, said Mark Stein. And Clint's not on a bad deal. It's just, I agree with the Hawks stance that if you're asking for Clint, okay, I don't want to be a salary dump because I'm also trying to compete because Trae Young, DeJounte Murray are signed long-term. And they're, I believe, a really good core. And what I think here is you look at Clint, it's $20 million. So we also look at Hunter and Bogdan because you might think maybe there could be movement of salaries. And right here, I know Tim Hardaway Jr. would probably be where this trade starts. So Clint, Tim Hardaway Jr., okay? And you're thinking, why? Because that's probably one of the more movable. Right here, I probably think the base salary filler contracts are Tim Hardaway because he could actually be still serviceable, and then they could trade him next offseason or at the deadline again, the Hawks. And then JaVale McGee, who would just straight up probably be cut, okay, in my humble opinion, while I think they need to give it something to now incentivize them. They made it clear that they're not trading Josh Green. They want Josh Green long term because they just like his play style. And I assume maybe whatever picks the Mavericks would have available would have to be one unprotected first or a lightly protected first for Clint Capela because the Hawks do truly value him. And if they do this, it opens up Onyeka Okongwu. And you'd think, okay, maybe they would want JaVale to mentor and they'd keep him on the roster. But this is where it gets complicated. Because I could kind of see them being like, okay, give us a lightly protected first, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, JaVale McGee, which right there, that is about $35 million in salary that the Hawks would have to take. Clint only makes 20. My thought is you either then put together Pat Mills in there, which brings it to 26, and then you figure out a trade destination for, I guess you would say, JaVale McGee to be a salary dump, and then you're only taking in about a $4 million difference, 26 going out for the Hawks, and you're taking in 30. Or you include DeAndre Hunter or Bogdan in that deal, which I wouldn't deal. So this is where the deal gets complicated, and I start to think that this would definitely have to be a 3-team deal. because any other additional guys that the Hawks would trade. Because I don't think the Mavs have enough assets to just straight up trade for Clint Capela, like we just discussed. So if we were trading, I think the most realistic is Clint and Patty Mills in a 3-team trade for Tim Hardaway Jr., a lightly protected first-round pick, and Maxi Kleber. That'll be $30 million in salary the Hawks would take, and they'd send out 26. And then the Mavs would have to find a third team, like maybe the Spurs, and package like a second-round pick for them to take on JaVale McGee's contract. And then they just, absorb it and just either waive him. I think that's the most realistic way to go about that. I don't know. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. That's it for me today. Hope you guys do have a good one. Peace out, everybody. Bye.